Hmm. I need something in the thread module that's like a one-time, like entry guard. A one-time entry guard that does not require prior initialization from a main thread or something. But I don't want to deal with that right now. I don't want to deal with that right now. There are 4 parts. Yes, Mr. Picard. Yes, Mr. Picard, there are 4 parts. So I want it so that this thing can connect to a client after a while. Instead of disabling, I don't want that. So if we can't connect if bang logged retry, so okay. I went to sleep at 1:30 a.m. Well, at least you went to sleep at some time, at some a.m. At least you slept. Okay, so we're only going to log this once. And then we return. Okay. So the per frame update. Right. So if we're not enabled, we return. Okay. We're going to do last visit time. So we're going to do the same thing. We allow you to start the visualization client after the program is running, so if we have not connected, we keep trying. Milliseconds per viz init controls how often we retry. Okay. So now, otherwise, so this is literally a pasta. Like we could just do this. If it's less than milliseconds per viz update, we return. If it's not Apollo time invalid, we ask for how many milliseconds. See, much less code here. Okay. Per viz init, we'll just try every half a second. All right. Last update time is now. We try to connect. Yeah, since the last try. So let's try to connect. All right. Cool. Now, wrong thing. So I'm rebuilding this. Oh, did I get rid of this heat was thing? I literally didn't. That is definitely a thing that we don't need. Okay, so we're going to rebuild this. We're not going to run it yet. We're going to build the game with memory debugging. Caffeine can help it. Caffeine, like I don't feel caffeine, but I really like tea. And I assume the caffeine helps me out. I never notice, the effect is not strong enough, you know, for me to notice it. Okay, so we're starting the game. Unable to map a view of name. Okay, we should tell it it's quiet. Right? I mean, it's optional. So anyway, anyway, so we're running. It's trying to connect constantly. It is not connecting. So now if I run the client, it connected to us and it's giving us data. How cool is that? Don't you wish your programs worked that well, Mr. Linux ass? Okay, there's a bunch of questions about what we visualize and stuff, but yeah, etc. Okay. What happens if I start invaders now? Well, that will mess us up pretty badly because I'm not sure. So with a fast connection like this, I'm not sure how to guard it against multiple communicators without being very slow and without like maybe changing the permissions on the channel. I don't know, which I'm not sure how to do in a synchronized way. So the eventual solution to that problem, which I'm not trying to do yet, is there will be a buffer that's just for establishing connections, right? And that one is slower because you use like interlock, compare, exchange, and fight with each other or whatever. Because you could design a buffer like this so that multiple people post to it, but then that's a lot less efficient, like CPU-wise, because everyone's fighting with each other for cache lines and stuff. So, but you could do that in a connection buffer. You could say the connection buffer is a very simple thing. It's got some number of fixed records. You post to it with interlock, compare, exchange. And if successful, the dude accepts your connection and gives you the name of a buffer or a handle to a buffer or something that nobody else shares and will be able to accidentally connect to, right? And so that's how we would solve that problem. 66 megs only, that's not actually true. This is 66 megs allocated after we ran the thing that says we don't care about allocations after this point, which happens after startup. Because again, this code was originally a leak detector. So we actually want to go in and tell ourselves about all the memory probably. I mean, that could be a flag, is like include things not marked as leaks. I got some food coming up and I will appreciate that. It's in 8 minutes. Much less than a modern text editor with Hello World. Well, those text editors are made by people who buy into a poisonous paradigm. Poisonous paradigm. Okay, so we now connect afterward. Let's make that quiet. Let's make that quiet. Oh, we haven't tried this in the Linux. So we don't want all errors to be quiet because we just want this basic thing. All right. Okay. So now we could compile that. I am definitely getting hungry. Oh, did I boil tea water? I think I did. 1 second. I did boil tea water. So we're going to have Golden Monkey number 3 of the day. So many golden monkeys. Quick wash. And we gold the monkey now. Let's everybody gold the monkey. Let's monkey the gold. So what we are doing is we're running the game first. We're going back here. We're going to run the client well after the game has begun. Boom. Boom. That's great. Okay. Now what? I think we just take the W on that. Because things got slow today, because we were sitting there watching a lot of Counter-Strike, I think we take the W. Does invaders? I don't think invaders needs that modification actually. Cool. Now, Linux test, that's going on the list. Okay, don't discount the stuff we allocate on startup. Hell yeah, brother. So in the Sokoban, we call this function that's like everything before allocations before this call will not be considered leaks. All right. And make leak report. Let's call this it's weird. For visualizer is false. All right. Let's say first if x not first index. If it's not for visualizer, then okay. So that's fine. And then when we make leak report, we say true. Oh, the food's ready. Maybe. That was some good CS, dude. A few of those plays, man, they were good. And it was very close. It also just felt like there was a lot of Keystone Cops action as well. I don't know, man. Bruh. Sit rep. Sit. Reps of sitting, as somebody said today in chat. Rep. Okay, so this actually should tell us about a lot more things. Which means we should put the first allocation index in the header. Maybe. This is one of these just like figure out how to try to make a useful thing scenarios. So like if I save the actual allocation index, then we could sort of sort by age. But we combine things into stack traces. So each stack trace will have a range of ages. And what does that mean? Is that useful? If we sort by age, what does that mean when it's a group of allocations? Or we could tell the client about every damn allocation, but that might be a lot more data. But maybe that's fine. Would the really old allocations necessarily be the most problematic leaks? Well, what we're doing right now is not really about leaks. I know the word leak is everywhere in the code, but that is because this was originally a leak detector, and now we are expanding it so that we use it to generally visualize memory. So what the question really is just, what is helpful in understanding what the program is doing, while at the same time being reasonable to implement and doesn't destroy the performance of your program? And honestly, that's a pretty open-ended question. But I'm starting with things because I want to sort of work on this today and maybe tomorrow and then kind of leave it off. So I'm looking at like, what do we already have implemented and what can I do with that? Also golden monkey tea. I'm going to have a little bit less honey this time, but I'm going to have some. How many calories is honey? Serving size 1 tablespoon. Calories 64. Oh, that's not bad. Okay, I've had like 150 calories of honey today. Honey is just good, man. All right. It's basically sugar. I was surprised at how few calories a cube of sugar is. It's only like frickin' 25 calories. It's 30. 30 is O of 25. One gram of carbs is 4 kcals. There you go with all the European units. So like, is a sugar cube, is that about 1 milligram, I guess? No. 10 milligram? How am I supposed to remember these things? It's actually 15 to 16 calories. That's also O of 25. cubic centimeter of water is 1 gram. That's the kind of thing I never will remember. Because for some reason, I don't care. I've heard that fact 7,000 times. It's a very simple fact. I just don't care. I don't know why. Milligram is a very tiny amount of mass. Okay. That's true. I get you. Okay. Leak summary. Okay, what was I even doing before I started eating food and talking about things? We were looking at... well, okay, so first, let's just make sure that this thing frickin' worked. So we should see a lot more memory in the report now. I never really ran that. All right, well, it's going to tell me about things when it gets done. Now, the problem with this is it's going to be even harder to see anything, the small things, because there's going to be way more. See, there's big shit over here. 57 megabytes in load triangle mesh. See, that's useful to know. Look, we load meshes for 57 megabytes. What's this? Hash table for deep copy of animations. Wait, 50 megabytes in a hash table. Oh, that's just an overriding allocator. So this is telling us what overhead this... So overriding allocator is a thing that gets engaged that tells us when we done fucked up. Okay, what about this? I should draw these so you could see them better, but more triangle mesh loading, but a different part of it. 24 megs, 57, 24, 20, also in animations. Like, this feels wrong to me, dude. This feels like it ran away and is doing a bunch of shit that it shouldn't. Like, I always felt that way about this deep copy code. That's why I do not fucking trust deep copies. Okay. Like, if this trace is correct... Init wall data, 10 megabytes of wall data? It's maybe plausible here. Maybe. Because overworld is like 3D and big. 7 megabytes in 14 allocations. Another 7 in 14 allocations. But yeah, this is all cold. This is all stuff that happened at startup, right? Bitmaps that we loaded. More fucking deep copy. Dude, I swear. Deep copy is the worst shit. $352K in 1375 allocations. So this is visit files, catalog loose files. Well, there's about 300,000 files. Or no, 1,300. Oh, only 1,300. This is 1,300 files of some extension. Anyway, so we're going to need some way to zoom in and whatever. I mean, right now we could say warm only. But we can't zoom in on that other stuff. Why do the allocations fluctuate? Well, because we're doing different things on different frames. Like this one doesn't fluctuate because it's a very stable thing. It's a pool. We're probably using this pool every frame. It's getting one block. That's all it needs, etc. Right? This, see if I snapshotted it, or we could leave it up but gray it out if it doesn't exist this time. In fact, that would be a good idea. I hate it when to-do lists get long, but gray out something selected that isn't happening this frame. Like, so in general, you want the memory behavior of your game to be very predictable and very solid and very non-Cyberpunk 2077. The less that is true, the more of a problem you have. So, the fact that this is happening is an indicator, like, oh, things are a little bit weird. Now, that said, there are things that happen once in a while, like timed moves of things on the overworld. There's rovers, there's lily pads, and those occur every 2 seconds or something, right? And so that could be what we're seeing, although it seems like more often than that. Although, also, oh, I don't know. I mean, I guess we're sending these every frame, but since the game is backgrounded, it's running at like 10 FPS. I don't know. The colors of the allocations signify right now how recently they happened. Like how many updates ago they happened. Well, it's okay, it's number of allocations times how recently they happened. So the hottest dudes beam particle scan. Okay, this is really nice because I've been wanting to do work in program understanding for a long time, and this is, you know, just the beginning of that kind of thing, but it's pretty cool. Okay. Yeah, let's, when we select something that is not active, we still have the data. Like here, I somehow selected something, and it happened a long time ago. I suppose eventually we would want to tell you if it got freed or if it just exists and is old. But like right now, we don't send that information. And that's kind of the problem, is like if you select something and then it gets freed and you don't know that. You know what I'm saying? I'm almost done with my golden monkey. That's so good. Okay. Because this is kind of crappy. This behavior of flickering. Okay. Let's do that. So, current items. Okay, so if we did not find a selected item, it might be that we had one selected but didn't draw it. If this happened, okay, if selected PST, and not selected item. Okay, if these things are true, then what? Then what? We have a hash table from address to, we have leak summary items. Let's call these memory items table. Tableau. Okay. For memory items table, if it dot alloc site trace is equal to selected PST, we do something and break. What do? We say selected item not drawn. This frame is true, and selected item equals it and break. Okay, so now if selected item, here we go. Because the box might not even be live. All right, and then the header text, I don't want to gray out the whole thing, but this header text here, the bytes in allocation string, let's just gray it out for now. And that'll let us know that it's working. And then I want to add a suffix string or something. Okay, so what do we do? We should tell people how to connect. Okay, so right, if we go to hot only, how do I get something that's disappearing? Okay, so this one is no longer being drawn, maybe because it's just not hot anymore. But it didn't disappear. Now, it's not sporadic like some of those other ones. Oh, we were drawing hot only before. Even if it falls off the hot sector. Okay, so we also want to tell people if something gets freed, I guess. That might be harder. I mean, we still have the data, so it's not really harder. It's just I'm worried about spamming the dude. So maybe we send the first time that things get freed. Okay, we'll put this in the change log. Tell the visualizer when memory has been freed. Now, this is for different allocators, right? So we could categorize by allocator. This is temporary allocator. This is alloc, but obviously there's an allocator proc under that we could stash. This is this is alloc. This is temporary allocator uses a lot of space, and so we overflow, right? By 200K. Bro. In maintain mounts? Holy shit. See, this is what you don't know this about your memory behavior of the program. Like if we sort by, I want to have sort by address, actually. Or no, sort by age. And we could have that be client age. Let's do that. Let's do sort by age. Oops, it's in the other file. This is sort of the same thing as heat, but not really. And then address, let's sort by address as well. The problem with sorting by age is we need a secondary by address or something. All right. Okay. So now by age, by address. Okay, so this item is oh, we don't know. The address doesn't make sense because there's no one address because it's a summary of a lot of allocations. So let's not do that. Let's do, however, age. Which is kind of like heat, but different. Okay. Primary by which primary sort by which frame we last received an update, which is kind of like last gave us an update. kind of like age, but different. Secondary sort by number of allocations. This should be the most stable display. Minus message index of last update okay, and then like there's no strict way to do a secondary key. Like we kind of want to normalize. Actually, we could. Let's go by leak bytes, I guess. Don't we get totals? Total bytes. Oh, we don't have them yet. Okay, I think we swapped these. Okay. Age plus equals used when sorting by age. All right. Actually, we could therefore, never mind that. This is not inside a loop. We could just do this right here. Okay, so age plus equals x dot summary dot leak count divided by denom times iDenom. This will be in 0, 1. Return age. Right? Oh, that's still running. That's still running. Error paren expected. Oh, yes. iDenom. Attempt to use a variable from an outer stack frame. Oh, crap. That is a good point. You know what? We're just going to do this. Actually, we're going to do this. Put it out here. Okay. Now also though, we need to take out address because that doesn't make any sense. All right. Simsalabim. Simsalabim. Kind of like heat. Did I literally not put in a comment? This is kind of like heat, but different. Did I literally not say the average allocation is 541 bytes? 541 bytes. Allocations. It's kind of interesting, this sort of generally inverse correlation between heat. Bytes per allocation. Again, the hot things tend to be small, which kind of makes sense. Heat. Okay, age, we're not setting this. Are we? Wait, how are we? Oh, this is the tiebreakers. This is the tiebreakers. So age is in there, but we're not, everybody has 0 for the frickin' thing. Message index of last update. All right. So when we do this, it's not called OG anymore. Okay. We'll not worry about too much renaming yet, though. So item.message index of last update equals index of this usage update. Index of this usage update. Simsalabim. Is async programming a good idea? What does async programming mean? I don't even know what that means. 800,000 allocations? I mean, it is a video game. I mean, that's only like 10 characters in the Chrome address bar, dude. Yeah, this seems like a disaster. Something bad is happening here. The deep copy is fucked. Still. Okay. This is kind of weird. So this is relatively stable because we don't do via very many paths more than 94 allocations, right? So I kind of want to send group data now, because that's one of the useful things about. So all this deep copy stuff and whatever, yeah, this is bananas, dude. So this is not even exactly the real path, because this is actually an amalgamation of a number of them, and we're maybe not sending enough data. Like we could even have stuff like, you know, right click and be like all allocations through this function or whatever, right? Like anything that went below this, show that only. Okay, so this age wasn't very good, unfortunately. I mean, maybe it's not working. I don't know. Okay, so I want to do the grouping. And I want to do the snapshotting. I don't know how much of this we could do tonight. Async programming is you want to do some I/O blocking things instead of returning value when it's ready and spinning up threads so your program doesn't wait forever. Return a future struct where you can register a callback to a function which is called when the data is there or there's an error. Callbacks are terrible though. Callbacks are awful. Why are callbacks awful? Because when do they get called? You don't know. Is it the time when your program is ready to handle the result of this thing? You don't know. So what is your callback restricted to doing in a complex program? It's restricted to setting some other signal up so that when the time comes, your program can, at the proper time, when the context is right and all that, handle the thing. So why not just do that part? Why not just make the API do that part and get rid of the fucking callback? By async programming, you mean the inclusion of keywords like await that let you avoid having callbacks. You can do let my data equals await socket receive, and the async job handler will do other things until the data is there. Then the job handler resumes execution. I mean, like that's just like, I guess I'm not sure why that's any better than what you would do anyway. Like that's a low performance programming pattern, right? It's like I'm a thread. I don't know how to do anything until something else happens. So I'm just going to sit here with my thumb up my butt, right? So instead of await, it should be called sit here with my thumb up my butt. Like, I just don't understand what that's for. Like, if you're going to wait for it to happen anyway, why does it have to be in another thread? In a lot of server-side cases, you can't do anything until some blocking I/O routine is done. Well, I would claim that's because those servers are programmed badly, which is why you can't have more than 10 people read a web page at one time. Not one thread, it's all one thread and executing multiple things. But do you see what I'm saying? Like, calling a function, what that means is you wait until the function is done and then you keep going. So what is await doing for you if you're only waiting on one thing? Now, if you have a form of it that's like, do these 5 things in parallel and wait until the last one, right? Which is basically kind of like what parallel for is also, then it makes more sense. But await on one thing doesn't make any sense at all, unless I'm missing something. Like, what does that even do? Now, asynchronously waiting on n things is somewhat faster than waiting on one thing, but it's not actually that much faster. In the end, you end up waiting for the slowest guy, who can be quite a lot slower than the other guys. And so your program spends most of its time sleeping anyway. Await on one thing is useful for stuff like this. Func on connection. Await let data equals socket read. Do some processing on data. Await send data. How is that? What is different about that than if I just remove the awaits? How does it behave differently? I'm just here to confirm that await on multiple async tasks is a thing. Oh, of course. Like, that's what it's actually designed for, but it's also not a good thing to do, really. It's a low performance kind of thing to do. It behaves differently because reading like socket read would block normally until the data is ready. But your function that you wrote wants to wait until the data is ready. But the thread could be doing other things instead of waiting for the data. I mean, I just can't, I can't parse your example then. Like, I can't tell from your example what is the callback and what is the code that runs. Anyway, my opinion is, like, look, if you want to ask whether this is a good way to program, look at the kind of results generated by people who program that way, and are they impressive compared to other things that you know about? Like, that's the only real, because I can tell you my opinion, and it might be incorrect or miscalibrated, or you might just have a different taste than me, right? But the way that you actually get good is by knowing what's good. And the problem is it actually takes some training to know what's good. Think in the cases being described, await is just syntactic sugar for callbacks. Yeah. You're impressed by the readability of Erlang stuff, and they use async a lot. I mean, it's fine. Like, I don't like Erlang. Erlang to me, I mean, I've never programmed in it, right? But it's one of these things that the Hacker News kids get excited about every couple of years, and then nobody ever really uses. Erlang to me looks like it's fun for trivial code, and then the more non-trivial your program is, the more it doesn't actually help you with anything, right? So like the whole, hey, we're spinning up 1 billion threads and they're each reading from a thing. It's like, that's just your computer being fast, right? But the more those threads want to do non-trivial things, the more that the whole like Go routine style model of Erlang doesn't really do that much for you, in my opinion. Like it's pretty easy. It's pretty easy to generate, like, okay, there is in the history of programming languages, across many, many languages, way too much of a tendency of design features by the language, by writing a short snippet of code and then saying, isn't this really cool? Doesn't it look really cool? Doesn't it look shorter than what you would do in other languages? Doesn't it, isn't it elegant to write this? And that might be true, but those things usually don't scale to like larger programs. Like the things that we need help with in really large programs, most of these features don't help with. And that's, I guess that's to be expected, right? Because like solving hard problems is hard. And so most proposed solutions for hard problems probably won't help that much because otherwise they wouldn't have been the hard problems. So it's not really surprising, but you just have to keep in mind that that's a general property of technical solutions of which programming language features are a subset, right? And the thing to keep in mind is just, hey, most of these don't really solve the hard problems. Because otherwise, like, we wouldn't have those problems anymore. The fact that exceptions exist and failure cases aren't clear from reading the code. I mean, that's so what you say there about failure cases, that is one of my pet peeves. So one of the ways that people supposedly make code more elegant, and I include C++ in this, is we're going to hide the failure cases. And you just see the straight line code. And it's like, but no, the failure cases are the user interface in a lot of cases, right? Like if you don't have enough space to save a file or something, you want to handle that well. And that's a feature that you're delivering. And because of that, it needs to be explicit in your code so that everybody reading the code understands it and sees it happening. And if it's just like somehow swept under the rug and made invisible, it's not actually going to be good. And that happens a lot. So that's one of the reasons why I don't like exception handling and don't use it. It also doesn't really solve anything. But yeah, broadly speaking, I don't like the things that exception handling claims to provide. I don't think are as valuable as the people who design the feature think they are, is a way to put that. Okay, grouping in the stack. We should take the W. I don't remember what we did here, but I think if we keep freed memory around for a cycle, that'll help make that display more stable as well. I don't know, but we're going to want to zoom in. We're going to want to like filter. We're going to want to, yeah. Okay. So, commit. More visualizer progress. Okay. You want to make the server for the game you're releasing reliable and fault tolerant, but the language uses exceptions to communicate things like parse errors. So bugs can become game service disrupting. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's exactly, like, a parse error is not an exception, right? A parse error is, I mean, especially if it's a parse error in a user-facing file, right? A parse error is expected results of user input. That should not be an exception by any means. Not at all. Now, yes, when you write a parser without hiding the parse errors as exceptions, you end up writing a substantial amount of code to explicitly handle errors. But that code also lets you customize what happens with different errors in different places and give more information to the people that helps them understand their parse error better and deal with it better. And so you actually make the user experience much worse by doing this with exceptions. And like the people designing these features like don't understand this. Yeah. Exceptions are for when there's a bug in your program or your computer is failing. That is what exceptions are for. Any other use case is not exceptions. Should not be exceptions. Go-tos got canceled, so they replaced them with exceptions. Yes. Go-to considered harmful, therefore we have invented super go-to. Super go-to. Okay, grouping in the stack display. The thing is, groups are generated dynamically. So they're not like the stack frames, which are long-term. scenarions. Let's go look at the printing. Print leak. Okay. Log stack trace. So if we pass the group info here, see, this is weird. Like, it's sort of an abuse, but I can override the logger. Like, this is frickin' terrible. Bleh. I'm just going to put a speed note. Okay, my log stack trace. So we could override default logger or something. So here you pass the report. See, I would like to just use this same thing. Yeah, anyway, so if there's group info, we look at the group info, we say this, and then we get these. Yeah, I could change this. Trim displayed trace based on options. Okay. Yeah, we need this to get a more accurate report. Although, don't we like compute this part already? This is what's weird. Don't we, in fact, to match these together, to when we decide that it's in the same group, don't we do that? Raising an exception outside the loop. That's great. That's great. Okay. See, I have this weird general dilemma where the visualization client does not know about the leak report options. We could tell it. That seems annoying, but if we told it, it could run this code, right? Or we could do more of this on this side. Where do we set group ID? Oh, group info. Let's look at group info for a second. This is a procedure to elide, which is 2 strings. Sub summaries, which is an array of pointer to leak summary. This is everybody who's in the group, I guess. Which we could probably skip for now. Root nodes in common, leaf nodes in common. I don't understand why this is separate from this. Anyway, let's continue. Okay. So, group summaries. Find the first match. From there, look at subsequent matches. When found, put them into the first match's sorted summaries array, removing them in place. Reports is not yet sorted, so it's fine if we scramble it. Okay. So, if summary should be grouped, like I wrote all this code, should be grouped. If it's already in a group, don't do it. If it doesn't have a stack trace for some reason, don't do it. Does that even happen? I don't know. If anything matches, we group. If anything matches, we group. What? How does that make sense? If literally anything on the stack trace is the same procedure. Oh, wait, this though. Okay, so for each match in matches, Now what? We assume that they literally all match. I don't understand what I was doing here. I don't understand. Intersect call stacks. So on the group info, right, root nodes in common and leaf nodes in common. And then we use that to print out the things. So this would be the first, you want to draw these and then do a dot, 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 right? So anyway, okay. When we make a group, there's sort of two different things going on here in this code we've looked at. One of it is things that are grouped together have stacks that overlap. Another one is like, hey, there's things in this option struct, right? And like, I think we may want to, it's weird. It's like, do we want to leave that kind of information in the program? Or do we want to make it so that your little visualizer has more of an IDE scenario and does that filtering on its side? I don't know. Intercal, I was probably one of the better intercal programmers at one point. Okay. Well, sort of the next step here is to bite the bullet and do some relatively major steps. And the thing is, when I'm not totally sure if I like the direction, it's worth pausing a moment and thinking about it. But we do need this information. If we do not have this information, then we can't display the stack traces correctly. What we could do, instead of sending the group, we could just serialize this information with the info struct, because I'm not sure if this group struct buys us anything. I'm not sure. Like, having a discrete struct for the group seems fine. Let's go to the protocol file. Okay. What is the thing that has the group info on it? It's not pack stack trace. Oh, it's leak summary. Right. Right. Okay. If this node is created by grouping other nodes. So the problem is we're just writing out the leak summary. We could make a thing called packed memory item or something. It's just, I don't know, like, is there value? You know what? Fuck it. Here's what we're going to do. When we write out the leak summary, because I don't want to introduce a lot more data structures and stuff. If leak summary dot oh fuck. See, we would need to do a pass where we count which summaries had groupings, right? Or we make a new data structure that has the parts of the group information that we want to transmit. And I'm not sure which of these is better. If not many things are grouped, then that's kind of a waste of memory. But we're already wasting 8 bytes on the group info pointer. And this is not that much more than that. Like the root nodes and leaf nodes in common should probably be S32s anyway. And that's the frickin' same size. I don't know. This is like, can we actually call it packed memory item or something? I mean, that is an option that we have. I'm not going to lie. That is a thing that could be done. But as Jurassic Park Dr. Ian McMalcolm says, we were so busy thinking about if we could that we just did. As Professor Ian McMalcolm says, do you know what happens when a toad gets hit by lightning? Okay. We don't seem to use this anywhere right now. Get rid of it? Question mark. Okay. I kind of want another good tea, but I drank a lot of caffeine today. A lot of caffeine. I've been a caffeined. A caffeine. So what happened to the toad? Life found a way is what happened to the toad. Life found a way. Okay, right now we're just going to have this. I'm just going to make the executive decision. We're going to make a thing called packed summary. Okay, it is not. So we're going to go p.leak count is it.leak count. P.leak bytes equals it.leak p dot this fucking thing. It dot this fucking thing. If it dot group info, else p dot root nodes in common is 0, p dot leaf nodes in common is 0, right? Something like that. Okay, if it dot group info, p dot root nodes in common is it dot root nodes in common. P dot leaf nodes in common is it dot lefa. Queen la lefta. Teef tafta. Queen la nafta. Okay, so we're going to have packed summary, mostly leak summary with some group info in here. Okay. Okay. So maybe that works to compile the game, but the client will not. Let me see. Packed stack. Wait, what? What? What are you talking about? It's there. It's right there. Oh, right. This thing doesn't know about that. Root nodes in common is not a member of leak summary. That is because it is not a member of leak summary. I know that. I know that. I know that. Loss of information. Well, fuck you. Well, fuck you. Oh, no, how did I end up there? Okay. Bam, sham, bam, bam. Now this will not compile probably. Oh, wait, it will. It will, because it's just going to be reading the wrong thing, which is bad. So we need to look for leak summary, right, which is still a thing. And we need to get rid of that. It's pretty cool that I did all this weekend. Input leak summary. Okay, this is different now. See, yeah, we had this anyway, right? This is now packed summary. Packed summary. Packed summary. Packed. Yeah, I hadn't even realized, I mean, I did because I did this earlier, but it's like, oh yeah, I already made that a thing. All right, so let's see if we explode into horrible flames. This is a possibility. Hey, look, we have the things. Now, we're not displaying anything different yet. Okay, this is not everything that we want, in fact. So, we want this thing. Not sure what to put there. And there we go, 0. And here we say group info sub summaries dot count. Okay. So we could now say if it's grouped, that it is grouped, right? Like when we output the thing, sometimes we say that, although maybe not for any of these. Like looking at this, what's the difference between these two? One 123, 278, 101, 406. So atmosphere pre-compute LUTs. I guess we do this like line number combination deal. But I think we only do it I think we maybe only do it in special cases that are pre-signaled. But like, yeah, here as well, it's like, oh no, these are kind of different. It's weird. I kind of... You could envision a different UI than the one I'm doing right now. And that different UI would be like it would give you all the roots of all the stacks. And then you could go down the roots and it would say like allocation here, allocation there. Now you can recompose that information from what we have, probably. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if, because there's these two different grouping mechanisms, I'm not totally sure which one does what. Let me just output that. We're saving the file, everybody. We're saving the file. I kind of want to be warmer than I am. Grouped from see, this seems kind of a useless grouping because I can't tell fucking anything about it. Like how, that seems bad. Process preprocessor directives, add string. Like what the fuck is this? Something's going haywire here. And then there are other things here. Yeah, I don't know. These are probably fine. Yeah, like, okay. I'm not sure how much I want to work on this group info right now because it almost never kicks in. And it's not working that well. Let's look at this. So we do have the multi-line numbers. Update editor and render main game frame. Why are we... Are we going one too many times? See, like I said, that code that was confusing me was like, uh, grouping if they have anything in common, which doesn't seem right. It doesn't seem right. So this grouping, let me just try to understand what I did. Also, I'm going to get a little robe or something to be warmer. Wait, I forgot. Okay, clearly this grouping is kind of ass. I thought it was good once upon a time when I did it. I don't know why I thought it was good. Like, I think you want, for grouping to make sense, I think you want everybody to match it from above. Okay, so we have known allocation leaves. Okay, so this is just trimming what we print. I mean, we could send this stuff. Right? Trim displayed trace based on options. Kind of not sure. This has been a slower stream today because we did all the obvious grunt work. And now it's like, might have to bedtime eventually. All that counter-striking today tired me out. So we have an array of roots to skip. We have an array of known allocation leaves. And again, it's a problem. Not knowing what to do. So let's go back. Grouping in the stack display requires improved grouping first. So that's going to be, okay, improve the grouping. And then we'll worry about the fucking display. All right. Snapshots. Oh, we could do that. We could do let's do snapshots. Fuck yeah. America, fuck yeah. Okay, here's how we're going to do snapshots. Will I deep copy the data? Probably not. Probably not. I want to debug that deep copy now. That's ass. It's ass. It's interesting. Like I could... I wonder if I should make like a logging allocator module. Because you could push a logging allocator and then just get log spew every time you call alloc. Just as like a test. I don't know. When we go in to look at the deep copy stuff, we'll see. Okay. So first is we're going to want all this stuff to be snapshot is a struct, current sort type, current show heat, because we want to have independent adjustment of those things. We're going to have what is the selected thing? We're going to have I don't know. What else? All the state, the array, like these metrics probably. Those are custom to this thing, but also this stuff. Current items, memory items table, And current items probably both go on here. Okay. So what do we do now? Well, our compiler, our program is not going to compile. It's going to be very upset with this thing that I did. It's going to be like, how dare you, sir? How dare you, sir? And I will say, because I do things. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Now, we're also going to have snapshots. Okay. And when we init, how do we init? Let's just say primary, if this is the snapshot that receives live data, because snapshot doesn't quite really mean snapshot. You know what I'm saying. All right, so wait, we already have init live allocations. It's down here. It's down here, bro. Okay. So everybody's unhappy now. All this viz metric stuff, all this so what we do here is we're going to go s or snap is okay. We must have at least one. Okay. Okay. So here we compute the heat. We set the metric. We're going to say update metrics snap. Okay. And we will actually do that before we draw. Yeah, it's fine. Which is also going to have to get very heavily factored. Okay. This is going to be a mess. Maybe not a mega mess. Maybe not a giga mess, but it'll be a kilo mess or a centi mess. So we want to draw one snapshot. And then we update metrics. Okay. So all this stuff is going to be like draw one snapshot. Like all of this stuff. Okay. I feel like there's going to be values we computed that we cannot any longer read. That's what Harrison Ford says to the president in Clear and Present Danger. How dare you, sir? Did you watch this movie recently, Casey? Wanted rect given void. Well, of course. Of course. Junk info area. Return rect. Okay. Otherwise, Mm. Okay. So we get the return. Okay, so that's a little silly. Array free. How dare you, sir? Current items, 89. No. Handle message reset until... Bottom Y. I literally just did this, right? Oh, that's a different bottom Y. Wait, did I already have a bottom Y? I feel like I did. I literally had one here. I literally had one. I literally, sometimes my brain eyes don't attend. 149, button height. We'll pass it in, whatevs. Whatevs. There's going to be a few things like that probably. Line height. Oh my God, I can't believe that that compiled that quickly after that much of a mega mess. Oh, mega mess. Oh, mega mess. Oh, we died. We died. No, Mr. Bond, I expect you to die. They tried and failed. They tried and died. They tried and died. Okay. So, literally, okay, wait. Now we're not, okay, did we rebuild the Sokoban? I think we did, but let's just triple, quadruple check. This thing, oh, that gave us array bounds check, live allocations line 230. Let's just look at that for a second before we go. Current items, 0. That might have been inside an if current items. Okay, let's let's you know, let's do the thing. I'm going to do a thing like Shroud. Remember when Shroud had a I'm going to do a thing? Those were the days. Okay, we are running. We've got our things. So now when we draw a snapshot like this, I'm going to have a special, or the live one, if and only if it's primary. We're going to have a little extra control panel down here, and it's at least going to have one button that says snapshot. Snapshot. Snap, 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 snap. Snapshot. 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 Okay. Okay. And that might be enough to end, because honestly, I'm feeling the grind of this. Like, it was really fun this weekend to start banging this out. But I've started to hit the slow patch, and I have so many other things to do. And I'm like, I want to keep working on this because it's cool, but I'm at the point where it's going to eat a ton of my time to make it good. So I think it has to be like a slow roll over time, but I wanted to at least get momentum on it, right? Because a slow roll over time with something that's real and exists is more of a thing than a slow roll over time on something that you maybe will do someday, right? Okay, so let's get a snapshot button. Okay, draw one snapshot. Okay, if primary, draw some controls that only apply to the primary snapshot. Okay. We can do this down here. Okay. And height times 0.1. I don't know. Anyway. A clock that runs on your Steam Deck to replace the one that's currently on it that runs in a browser engine. Their SDK is all WebSockets based, so they launch your process and tell you which port to connect on, and then you talk to it by sending JSON messages. That sounds like hell. Of course fucking Valve would do that for a portable console. Somebody has done a JSON module that you could use. I hate that shit, so I have never used it, but that is a thing. It doesn't come with the compiler, but it is a thing that somebody made that you can use. Elgato Stream Deck. Oh, I see. This is a different thing. This is a different thing for cats. It is a deck for cats. What is this? A Steam Deck for ants? When is Valve going to get good at hardware? I mean, they've been good at various parts of it over time, but now even with the Steam Deck, it's like they made something pretty good, they put it out, and they let it die. Like, they have no idea how to... like, they believe in some kind of capitalist ideal laissez-faire thing where you just make the thing and you put it out, and then it'll either naturally just win or it won't win, and like nothing else matters somehow or something. It's like they don't get behind products, especially fucking hardware products. I don't understand it. What's wrong with the Steam Deck? It's mostly fine. I mean, again, for me, I haven't used it enough to really have any complaints about it. For me, it's just that class of device doesn't make that much sense because I bring a laptop everywhere. But if you don't bring a laptop everywhere, it makes more sense, right? I just mean they release the Steam Deck and like, look, Sony, what does Sony do for their hardware? They like promote it heavily all the time. Like all the time. Like how much effort does Sony put in to having PlayStation be a good thing that people want? It's like a lot, right? And like Valve doesn't do any of that stuff. They have so much money and it just sits in their bank account. People will just know it's there and buy it because it's good. That's kind of what their theory seems to be, though. Like they seem to have a few failure points that are based on maybe observations that the founders made earlier in their careers that have some truth to them, but that have been extrapolated beyond correctness, right? So for example, I had two examples in mind, and then I started thinking about something else, and it dropped out of mind. Oh, the way that they like don't believe in game design, right? They believe in design by committee. Most of the committee not understanding game design. Because yes, it's true that if you have a design monarchy, that designer can make mistakes and mess up the product and not listen enough to like what customers want and whatever. That's true. But effective design monarchies have made the best things, the best products ever made. The best products ever made are not like iterative, ask the market what they want and give them that, right? As Henry Ford said. Same thing with this, like the way they don't get behind products ever. And again, I think maybe that goes back to culturally. Half-Life and Half-Life 2 were in such a smaller market and were so impressive compared to what anyone else was making that they sold themselves. Right? It's like... And so I think now that they think anything sells itself or it doesn't deserve to exist. And it's like, no, there's just realities. There's just tactical realities. No, I don't know. They just kind of shut up about VR forever. But now you find they're making another one. They're so schizophrenic about VR as well. Are they making another headset? Because I didn't know that. Is there like an Index 2, or does it have another weird name that no one will remember? Yeah, Portal 2 is not a good puzzle game. A lot of people like it more, but I think it's because it's got a lot more story. It's much more of like a linear story-driven adventure, and if that's what you want to play, that's what Portal 2 is. Portal 2 is not a good puzzle game. You want to say it's a different name. Anyway, okay. We're going to make a button, everybody. Pressed snapshot button if we press snapshot, we will do a thing. Hey. Let's rebuild invaders. So before I wasn't using the plugin, and now I am. It's not. Oh, because I didn't check in the per frame update. I don't think so. Like, I added it before, and then I reverted the file. Okay, so we're running this. We're going to run invaders. It didn't go. What's going on? Oh, because, okay, never mind. You do have to, yeah, okay. You have to do this. There's no way right now for a meta program to post that stuff. This memory option does something different. So I kind of want to figure out a way to automate that without having like a compiler global frickin' constant. But that might be fine. Hey, look, we got the thing. Hey, we've got a snapshot button. It's way down too low. But we're fine with that for now. So we've got our things. Like, we'll move things around later. This is obviously not placed very carefully, but I'll go snapshot. A standalone headset codenamed Deckard that is wireless, but that's a patent. Okay, so now we make the snapshot button do something. If pressed snapshot, then what? Well, we do the following. Let's just okay, like something like that. Took too many people to make Alex that their hat quota dropped. Oh, yeah. Yeah, Alex. Boom, we died. I should have done that with invaders. I knew that was going to happen. I mean, I didn't, but I did. But I did, but I didn't, but I did. All right. Invaders. Snapshot. Oh, snapshot. Oh, God. It really, okay. It really had the wrong number of bytes in the wrong number of allocations. Oh, because this same fucking thing. I knew it. You can't do this. You can't. We knew we'd made the same mistake before. This is not snap memory items table. This is new.memory items table. Nope, nope, nope. Wrong thing. So many wrong things. Snapshot. Okay, we're not currently cursoring down to the bottom. But we are, you can see we snapshotted at different times, and these have different sort controls, right? Oh, shit. Except not. Lol. I mean, it works. It's just the animation for the buttons is tied together because I forgot the get rect index. Anyway. So on Sokoban, this will be a little better. So these are all drawing over each other's asses, which is weird. Because we supposedly did that. Oh, except we knew that. Wait, we're doing this button way down here. We don't want to do this here, right? We want to do... This is still not, like, going to fix it. But we want to do this up here. Before the text... Info area. So we put that there. And then only if an item is selected do we do all this other stuff. Oh. Oops. Oops. All right. Snapshot. Hey, I'm selecting things. I'm selecting things. This is not really working though. We're not scrolling down far enough. Why are we not scrolling down far enough? We return the return rect. Oh, because... Whoops. I didn't do this right. Except that doesn't fix it either. What? What? Let's try that again. I don't think that's going to fix it. Oh, it does. So I can snapshot. I get so many snapshots at different times. Okay. Let's run on the Sokoban game. Sokoban game. Reserve in the loop. I believe I fixed that a long time ago, right? Yeah. That was in the loop momentarily. Okay. So let's put this in warm only. Snapshot it. Let's put this in. Oh, I forgot this part. Lol. Okay. Snapshot that. We can just learn about the state of the universe at different times. Pretty cool. Pretty cool, bro. Of course, we could have a close button. I snapshotted too many times and we died. They tried and failed. They tried and died. It was 457. The show heat type was 457. What? Are we somehow not initializing these? Anyway, okay. Draw one snapshot. All right, so when we do drop down, we say identifier. There we go. You know, we probably can disambiguate these. Like, I'm not actually sure why that's necessary. Like, I kind of know why historically, but I'm not sure, really. Okay, so I didn't fix whatever the crash is, but look, the things are no longer attached. Okay, here, this slow, medium, fast, we shouldn't draw if it's not primary. Because that doesn't make sense for guys frozen in time. Now, if I keep snapshotting, yeah, we crash eventually. Oh, it's because we resize the array. It's because we resize the array while we're inside. This is the danger. So, yeah, we're using a non-pointer stable thing. Instead, I could use a bucket array, right? The API will be a little bit different, but I mean, alternately, it is probably better anyway to delay the cloning, because like you're in the middle of things. It's just cleaner. Want snapshot. Okay. Okay. So, do snapshot. Okay. So, want snapshot false. Okay. So there we go. Now, there were a couple things. The snapshot button needs identifier as index, except it doesn't really because we only draw it once, but I'm going to do it for avoidance of doubt. Now, this other thing, the drop down for this one is only if we're primary. Okay. Now, if we're not primary, let's do this. If we're primary, we're going to do this. Else, see, we want to be able to delete the snapshots. Okay. We're going to assume you can't press on more than one frame. if we want a deletion, Fini snapshots want deletion, array ordered remove by index, snapshots, comma, want deletion is 0. See, like, sometimes things are pretty easy if you don't overcomplicate them. Okay, so this shouldn't be, like, we probably should make that a different color and stuff later. I don't know. We're not going to worry about that. What are drawbacks to using bucket arrays everywhere? I mean, if you have like a literal ton of them, like the waste of memory is not that bad unless, like, I don't know, I put them on an entity in my game and there's 10,000 entities or whatever. Really, they're not that bad. The thing you have to think about is if bucket arrays get really long and the bucket size is small, then when you index them, you're doing like an order n index, right? Kinda, because you're searching for the right bucket. We probably should just do a div mod there, but we don't right now, I don't think. Like, I think the buckets are a linked list right now, right? I assume it's the same thing you're talking about. Yeah, it's just, you know, yeah, it's the same thing. Okay, yeah. I mean, you use what you want to use, right? So the thing that's very good about bucket array, right, or whatever you call yours, is you get pointer stability and you pack things close together in memory. And that's the good thing. Like, the very bad thing on modern CPUs about all of these so-called modern languages is they encourage you to point at stuff. Like, one way to solve the problems I just had about, like, oh, I'm iterating over this thing and I'm going to remove it from the array, is you knew everything on the heap and you only put the pointer in the array, and that way you get pointer stability. But it's like, that's actually a bad habit and a very expensive way to get pointer stability if you can help it. In this case, it doesn't really matter, because how many fucking snapshots are you really going to have, right? But that kind of thing adds up. It adds up. Someone with a crab on their shirt told you linked lists are considered harmful because they can't do linked lists, is why. I mean, linked lists are slow sometimes and they're the best thing other times, right? Why are these? Okay, these are literally one line apart. Ooh. We're not frickin' setting the color shader correctly. That's like the font. Oh, when we draw the selected, yeah. Oh, because we're drawing more than one, and we change the order. Yes. Yes. Okay, we got to do that. Got to fix that. This is cool though. Like this is the start of like I can already click through here. On the one hand, it's like it kind of I wish it were even better than it is, and I'm not quite sure exactly how to do that, and it'll take some exploration. But on the other hand, I already found a bug with it that we haven't fixed yet with the deep copying too much. And like I already can click through and understand more. Oh, let me make more snapshots and we'll practice deleting them, right? So this one is going to be sorted by heat and okay, this one's warm only. This is all sorted by heat. This is hot only sorted by allocations, right? So if I delete this, we should get hot only sorted by allocations. So it should be warm only allocations and then hot only allocations. And this guy goes, hey, check it out. We could even animate that or some shit, whatever. Delete, 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 back, snapshot, bird shot, buckshot, bird shot, buckshot. I don't know why we get a different number on these. This one says 412 always, but I snapshot it and I get 416. That's pretty weird. Anyway. This is weird. This thing about being scrolled to the bottom. We kind of want to float the scroll or something. All right, let me fix this thing. And then that'll be enough to go to bed on, and then we'll see if I actually want to go to bed on it. So draw box selection. Because we drew text and stuff for the buttons and whatever. Is it worth recording a watermark for the scrolling so when you get a smaller stack trace, it doesn't scroll back up? Yeah, possibly. The thing is, you kind of want to save that. It's weird. You want to save that on the snapshot or something so that when you click around, it stays. But when you delete the snapshot, you want it to go away, right? And then the thing is, if you scroll, you also I don't know. Yeah, I'll think about it. I feel like there might be some kind of bad feedback loop in there if you do it a little bit incorrectly. So it was pretty cool, guys. Like also, maybe if you just click on this, it should just scroll down, right? We don't really have continuous scroll. right now, but yeah, like it scrolls up, but then you click a longer one and it doesn't scroll down, which is especially weird. Like you kind of want it to scroll down to the thing. So like that could be a cool thing to put on the scroll bar widget. Or something. Well, we streamed 10.5 hours today. Mostly Counter-Strike, but you know. Should it not keep the bar in the same place? I don't think so. No, I mean, if you do a behavior like this where you click over here, it's okay for the bar to move, right? As long as it happens fast. If it happens really slowly, that's bad. But like, you would shut that off. If there's any kind of auto adjust, you would shut that off as soon as the user does anything, right? Okay, what was I gonna... Oh, yeah. We want to make sure the selection still draws correctly, which it does. Delete. 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 Okay, this is pretty cool. I do not mind it. I do not mind it. It is pretty dype. Everybody who uses this programming language can use this in any program of theirs. It is pretty dype. So also, I want to get iProf running through here and give you a better interface about that too. But I figure it's better just to do this. Okay, let's take that W. Okay. Oh, we can check our changelog. So we did the snapshots. Let me get this out of there. Boom. Pretty cool. Yeah, there's definitely more items to do here. And I think this is how it goes for a little bit is I just play with it and I improve it based on what actually seems useful and what ideas I get by using it, as opposed to just random things, right? Because sometimes you just need experience using something. But yeah, there's several things like, look, deep copy is pretty clearly still fried. Why? What is its major malfunction, Lieutenant? Etc. Definitely interested in the deep copy investigation. Yeah, I mean, I imagine the answer is I should simply not use it in that case. So I was using it. It was an experiment in doing higher level programming language things. Um, um, see, it's like I do this deep copy. Is this really the only one? So a node, a graph is a series of nodes, and each node has an arc. And I'm just deep copying this. And like, I kind of don't understand. I bet the if clauses are going crazy. It's like, see, anytime you leave a hole and don't tell it not to copy something, and then there's a pointer back to other shit. String comparison constant value. No? Maybe the no deep copies aren't working. I don't know. Is that the only one? No, oh, in load graph. You know, I bet that's the one. Hold on. We would know by looking at the actual thing, but... Ah, yes. So when one graph is based on another graph, we copy the graph. And you can have multiple pointers to different things. We're supposed to keep a pointer map that says like, hey, if you visited this thing already, don't revisit it. But I bet that just doesn't work or something. All right, everybody. Thanks for coming by. Let's see if we could raid somebody. What is going on? Trying out MarkDoc. Building a chatbot. Playing jam games. Game Jam Day 2. Unreal Engine 5 AAA stress testing machine. Boy, it really goes really fast to like all of a sudden 2 viewers, right? What is game dev scope too big? I'm familiar with that problem.
Mini bosses that is for mini bosses being the guns that you already unlocked.
Let's raid game dev scope too big. Thanks everybody, and I'll see you later. Yeah, it's been a good weekend project. I'm very happy. We reached a successful point. I didn't necessarily expect it to be useful in finding bugs, and it has been. So that's freaking great. Bye, everyone.